riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, is not Timothy Richardson. That's right, folks. Tim is not here. Well, that's not entirely true. I've got some news. Nobody get scared. Don't be worried. Tim's fine. But last week, after we recorded our episode, we went to bed as always. And when I woke up in the morning, Tim was gone. This is not the first time he's done it. He does this every few months or so for various reasons. Sometimes it's something I did. Sometimes it's a personal quest that he's out upon. But I'm happy to say he's back. Unfortunately, Tim did not make it back in time for us to record a full episode. But rather than leave you guys hanging, I had an idea. I took every episode we did this year for our now world-famous Halloween October Scaretacular extravaganza, and I took all of the pieces and parts that you guys had recommended, cut them together into a series of hilarious clips that you guys can enjoy. So, this is every episode we did this year for our Halloween Spooktacular. I'll pop back in every now and again at the end of each episode, and we'll kind of review some of the things we learned, because putting this together, folks, I had forgotten a great deal. There's a lot of promises in here, and there's some things that we need to address. And don't worry, Tim will be back next week. He is weirdly covered in scrapes and bruises. I haven't talked to him. He came right in while I was sleeping, straight into his couch bed. Don't have a clue where he's been. Happy to see he's back, but he's definitely been in some fights. It's kind of like having an indoor cat that got out. He probably met some pretty tough streetwise cats, and I do mean that literally. Tim will fight a cat. I'll be interested to hear on the next episode where Tim has been. But in the absence of a full episode, I hope you guys are still able to enjoy the most ridiculous clips from this year's Halloween Spooktacular. First up, Feed My Frankenstein by Alice Cooper.
Oh, absolutely. And I Frankenstein my penis.
I'm sorry? You Frankensteined your penis.
Yes. Well, just like a costume. I didn't like to be clear, my penis is now made up
comforting.
Of a series of dead men's penises. Peens.
Right.
Peni.
Yep.
It's just
now,
a costume.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
I did settle on a different menu item. Behold, I purchased the Big Unit. This is actually what it's fucking called. It's a $23 full pound, 22-inch beef Vienna hot dog served on a full baguette and a bed of crispy fries.
I'm sorry, a 23-pound hot dog.
No, $23. $23, 1 pound, 22-inch hot dog. I mean, that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
If I'm not eating feet of steak, I'm eating inches of...
Inches of dog, yeah.
Yeah, inches. Correct. Inches of dog.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Throughout this time, Alice Cooper is a belligerent alcoholic. Allegedly, he's drinking 2 cases of beer, and I couldn't get a great definition of that, but also a fifth of whiskey a day. And
I was going to say, if you're going to be a raging alcoholic, beer seems like a very time-consuming way to go about it, but now I understand.
Right. It's more of a topper.
It's more of an in-between drink.
Exactly. It's like your snacking roasts.
Please don't bring up my snacking roasts.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
We are also dealing with a 44-year-old man desperately trying to remain relevant in an act that is comprised mostly of being draped in a snake and wearing excessive mascara. So it's not going to be great.
Do you think it would be better if I just got mascara tattooed onto my face so I didn't have to... Okay, all right.
Do that. I am all on board for face tattoos.
That's
for you.
Great. I didn't expect you to be so on board with that, but...
You tell me what you need. Money, a ride, designs. We can get you ICP'd up, get some big old ICP makeup on your face for this Christmas. Get it done right now. We could stop this.
I think I'm ready to commit to ICP face tattoos at Christmas. Sure, not now.
Well, we should get them done now so that they're there.
Oh, so they're ready and not swollen horribly. Gotcha.
Correct.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Spoiler alert, Alice Cooper has a penis that eats.
Well, that's debatable if it's a penis or if it's eating.
Wiener teeth.
Okay, don't be crass. That's terrifying.
I agree.
The song begins with an introduction after you hear a rumbling sound. Sounds like an angry tummy. Yes,
but like smaller, like not a person's tummy. Like
okay. Right. You have once again elevated this show with your words.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
After dark.
Oh, now you label me with the after dark. You've been all talking about penis teeth and grumbling wiener tummies, and then all I say is munch down on that vag, and suddenly I get the censorship label?
Listen, CBS is not okay with the female genitalia or female pleasure. If you talk about cunnilingus, that is not okay. You can fellatio all you want, but you talk about...
Maybe at your house.
At the house of CBS.
Sure. Well, listen, and I say this as the closest thing you have to a friend. No, that's too informal. I say this as a coworker. I need you to let go of the CBS dream. I think I know why you're having a hard time doing that. And I know that you feel bad about the way that pitch went down. And I know you didn't mean to throw up on that lady. And I want you to know, Tim, it's not your fault. Tim?
Garrett.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Don't do this to me.
It's not your fault. God damn. Okay, we got to move on.
That was a great hug.
That was a powerful hug.
Wow.
I don't know if we're going to leave that in. That was vulnerable.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
To maintain an erection, he injected himself with the souls of deceased wieners, and one of those happened to be a murderer.
Yeah, and we all know once injected with the soul of a murderer, that murderer can take over parts of, if not your entire body, for their end means.
Absolutely. We do know that.
Science, Tim.
Yep.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
That is the problem with the metaphor. Sometimes it just leads to confused expressions, and then you just have to be very literal with it, and that kind of ruins the mood. You know, if you're into some Frankenstein play, and then you have to explain what Frankenstein play is, and you got to go back to it. Okay, so Mary Shelley,
questioning, the existence of a soul and our creator. Listen, all you really have to do is go, fire burn, and I'm going to be rock hard. Okay, so just help me out here.
I get that.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
You like Limp Bizkit? Their early work was a little too new metal for my taste, but when Significant Other came out in 1999, I think they really came into their own commercially and artistically. The whole album has a clear, crisp sound and a new sheen of consummate professionalism that really gives the song a big boost. Fred Durst has been compared to Eminem, but I think Fred has a more bitter, cynical sense of humor. In 2000, Limp Bizkit released Chocolate Starfish in the hot dog flavored water, their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is My Way, a song so catchy most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the interstate highway system. It's also a personal statement about the band itself.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Cardi B has been to the trademark office. Apparently, I know you didn't think that sentence ended that way, did you? Well, apparently Miss B has filed the paperwork just last week saying that she wants to put the now infamous abbreviation WAP or WAP, for those of you playing at home, that is a wet ass pussy, on virtually every kind of gear you can imagine.
Now, I had a little confusion around this because a ton of people have asked us to do this song.
Yes.
And I have resisted, and I will say it's almost entirely because I was putting the space in the wrong place, or I guess I was putting the hyphen in the wrong place.
You were reading it more wet ass pussy.
Yeah, and I was confused as to what an ass pussy is.
No, you weren't. You've been to a Doug Stanhope show. You know exactly what it is. It's what you have to rely on as a sex worker when the economy turns really bad.
All right, fair enough. I was lying there. Because my mom listens to this show. And
oh, God, I'm so sorry. Wow. Guys, we learned a lot there. First of all, really penis-heavy episode. We had ghost penises. Tim dressed his penis up like a Frankenstein. Sad to say that hasn't stopped. He has taken to dressing his penis up in all sorts of characters and costumes, most of which I'm happy to say he doesn't share with me personally, but he does give me a very detailed description, and I do have to take him to Hobby Lobby for him to pick up his crafting work, so that's not been great. Something else I noticed in that episode, did you guys hear where Tim agreed agreed to full ICP face tattoos for Christmas. Christmas is just around the corner. We have already begun preparing for our annual Insane Clown Posse episode to celebrate the birth of our Lord. Well, Tim's Lord. Or I'm not even sure why we do it, to be perfectly honest. In any event, let's get that face tattooed. Reach out to Tim, Instagram, @hatepod. Remind him, Tim, tattoo that face. Let's keep going. Next up, Freddy's Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 6. Your history is my history this week, which is interesting that we're getting to a period of time where there is no longer a Tim or a Garrett, merely a Tarrant.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Tim, you have not aged in the last 11 years.
Yeah.
Give me your amulet.
This is the thing. A lot of people have a painting or something in their attic that ages in their stead. I have a Garrett.
Oh, come on. Am I aging for both of us?
Yeah, you are.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
We learned that he's being beaten at home, presumably his whole life, by Alice Cooper.
Right.
And then he, of course, goes to school and murders a guinea pig with a hammer, where then all the children in the class, rather than crying and screaming, just turn and point and chant, "Son of 100 Maniacs."
Yes. Which, how do they know that? Because I know what that line is from.
Oh, do you?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't.
It's from like 2 movies before. His mom or whatever, she's a nurse at a mental institution, and she gets accidentally left behind when they're closing up for the night or something. Maybe it's on purpose. I don't really remember. But anyway, she gets raped a bunch of times.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what this series is.
Oh, anyway, I assumed that oh my God.
But the children know. The children know that 100 men, 100 maniacs, we should say,
God.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
What do you think Freddy Krueger does when you're not there?
Solitaire, but not on the computer. Like he's actually got a pack of cards.
I think he might have multiple packs.
Oh.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you could play like Spider Solitaire.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, Garrett. Oh, I am going to change your life. This is the best game you will ever play.
Interesting. Follow-up question. Are you 80?
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
That's right. That was what I wished on my enemies, that their arms were turned to poisonous snakes.
Yes.
Still a good idea. Anyway.
It's not. It's pretty good.
Anyway.
I apologize.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Dead or alive.
You know you can't start that song around me. On a lone horse I ride. Sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
We're going to
I'm so
pause.
sorry.
All right, we're back. Garrett has sung the entire song.
Ooh, little warm.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
This is the pseudonym that Bon Jovi uses to score horror movies.
That sounds way more likely. Johnny Law.
Yeah, it sounds right up his alley. Dead or
It's got
alive.
I'm a cowboy. Tim.
All right, hold on.
On a steel horse I ride.
And we're back. Garrett did, in fact, sing the whole song yet again.
God damn it, dude. You gotta stop.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
I feel like you're describing some sort of dream-powered erections.
I wish I were. Although I'm glad that's not how it works, because I am world renowned for having zero dreams.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
I think that this is secretly just beat poetry with prog rock behind it to make it seem like a song.
Oh, sure.
But
It opens with some of the strongest Garrett High School poetry we've seen in a long time. I remember the endless longing that called inside of me from fountains of expression trying to break free.
Yeah, this is you if you stayed small. Like, because Garrett was like 5'1" through his junior year in high school, and now he's a strapping young man. He's well, not young, but you're 5'11", maybe 6 feet tall. You're all shoulder. You've grown into a man.
Yep. No, I'm quite a man-sized man, but
Right.
I needn't hear it from you.
But if you hadn't had that 17-year-old growth spurt, this is what you'd be writing.
Hello, my lady. Might I be your scribe? God damn, dude. That is exactly what's going on here.
Why I Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Once you've slashed, 100,000 teens to death with your razor blade glove, well, what's left to do? I mean, we've seen him over 7 films, sometimes better than others, be very creative in the methods in which he kills these children. At a certain point, you probably becomes a chore. Back to that whole Saw analogy, you can just imagine him with a big drafting table, just like, all right, maybe if I could make him like a giant apple, and it could be like a worm, and I'll crawl out of, oh, come on, Fred, you can do better than that. Like, this guy's probably lost all joy for it, but he's got those semen demons living in his tummy that run hell and gave him this job. He has to do it. What horrible fate awaits him? Well, I think he ceases to exist if he doesn't get those souls.
Oh yeah, he gets a little invisible and then eventually just fades out.
Back to the Future.
Yep.
Listeners of the show, you may have wondered, did Tim accidentally trick Garrett into singing the entire lyrical contents of the Bon Jovi song Dead or Alive twice in that episode? The answer is yes. Guys, write in, hatePodMail@gmail.com. I want to know, how does Freddy Krueger work? Why is he so consumed with getting these teens' souls? Now, we say in the episode that should he fail to get these souls, that he just slowly fades away. But I don't think that's really how it works. Freddy aficionados, please write in. Let me know. What happens if Freddy doesn't get those souls? Is he just trapped in the dreamland forever? Or does he die? Does he eat them? Is he consuming these souls? I want to know. We all want to know. Write in. All right. For the last set of clips for this episode, this very special Spooktacular extravaganza, we have put together not just 1 week, but 2 weeks of Lulu. Disc 1, Disc 2, one big shot. So folks, dive in. Get ready. Here it comes. Metallica and Lou Reed's horrible, horrible idea, Lulu.
You punched me while I slept, and when I weeping asked you why I was woken up with a punch, you said,
what did I say?
Lulu.
Yeah, I said Lulu.
And I instantly forgave you. You know, that's fair.
Yeah, we shook hands and we both went back to our respective couch beds.
Yeah.
But I just had to punch that face.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
It's a bizarre window into, as Tim put it, maybe the worst decision ever made. I mean, it's like Kennedy saying, top down is the move, I think. And then right after that is Lulu.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
My favorite Fred story, there's a burger place in Fort Worth called Fred's, unrelated to Fred. And you kept talking it up and telling him how much you love the burgers for like years, probably?
5-6 years, yeah.
5-6 years. And finally he agreed to go. And what did he do?
I ordered a chicken sandwich.
God, he's great.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
I mean, it's probably safe to say at that point, and I don't want to be disrespectful to him or his family, he's more hepatitis than man.
Yeah, I don't think that's disrespectful at all. In fact, I think it's
scientifically accurate.
Yeah.
That's science, bitch.
Did you call me
That might be
bitch?
the shirt. Yeah, that might be the shirt. That's science, bitch. Although I'm worried that might have been said on Breaking Bad.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, everything that could have been bitched was. Okay.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
We here on the show do not condone in any way, shape, or form the use of severed appendages for sexual play. Prosthetics? Sure. But you cannot use some lost appendage as a sex toy. That's disgusting.
Unless it's a lost prosthetic.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Nothing weird about that.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
As well documented on this show and in my life, my fuck style remains buck wild. But I don't care for anyone spitting in anyone's mouth. I think
What if
I
it's
can
an
say
accident?
That. Oh, well, sure. Accidents happen.
Yeah.
Accidents have happened, Tim. Now, we were moving a washing machine at the time, but I totally sneezed in your mouth.
I couldn't do anything because we would have died.
I had to get a paper towel and dab your face. I sneezed in your mouth. Oh, you were a really good sport about that. I don't know if I've said that before.
For those of you that are having trouble with Garrett's laughter and figuring out what he's saying, Garrett and I were once moving a washing machine and we picked it up and were essentially face to face when Garrett sneezed directly into my mouth. And given that I was carrying a washing machine at the time, I could do nothing. I wanted to pummel him. I wanted to crush him under the washing machine, but I had to maintain composure so as not to die. It was gross.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
I don't know. Because
otherwise,
it's not about the dominatrix. It's about the dominated. That's what they're there for.
Well, sure. But like, you want them, obviously this is consensual. You want them to like what you're doing. But like it kind of loses a little bit of the, the motivation there if they're just like, yeah.
Oh, sure. They need to be scared.
In conversation.
Right. No, I mean, I'm just saying if you're getting paid to dominate somebody, I mean, there needs to be the real threat of things going too far.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, well, I guess I'm not dominating people.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Like Jeremy Renner, this guy wants to fuck, but also kind of hates ladies, like Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, that also
I get the impression he doesn't love ladies.
No, because of the biting and the punching and the cocaine. Allegedly, all of that is so alleged, Jeremy. Please don't sue us. We don't have much. All we have is dusters and scarves. So,
oh God, Tim, don't tell him about the dusters and scarves.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
If I just woke up tomorrow and was a girl,
super in.
You know what?
So in. Let's make this happen. I don't know.
Okay, you know what? I wasn't going to go this direction, but let's just get it out of the way. Let's have this conversation now. If I wake up tomorrow and I am a girl, absolutely not. I'm not even going to let you see me naked.
Okay, what if I wake up and I'm a girl?
I will prefer that you wear clothes.
I don't know. What if I'm a sexy girl?
God, that...
I need to know it's me. Like, it's not...
Of course I do.
This is not... It's a body switch movie, but like, deep down, like, that's Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me also say, if I do wake up tomorrow and I'm a girl, you know you cannot bang me.
And I can convince you.
You can try. I mean, I don't see how that's any different from what's happening on a daily basis currently, but except that I will be a girl now. But sure, Tim, why not? I don't. Que sera, sera. Other way around, I mean, absolutely not. Could I bang you? But yeah, I guess I would allow you to. Man, but it's you. That if there was ever a dick killer on planet Earth, it's watching you gaze out from anybody's eyes.
Yeah.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
Let's throw down some truths, Tim. Ugly people have the best personalities. You know why? Because they're ugly. You got to make up for what you don't got. And hey, I speak from experience. My right eye doesn't open as much as my left eye. And I have to deal with that challenge.
Garrett, I think I've got some good news for you.
What's that?
You're a handsome man.
No, I know,
Tim,
but I'm just saying. Well, sure. No, I'm just, it's the reason that I know how to make a bump key. Like, it's not a dramatic change to my personality.
Gotcha.
Seeing that small imperfection, I had to acquire a skill in order to overcome that. So should somebody ever point it out, I'm like, right, but I can get you into most houses.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
It is a biological function that you must relax and let your guard down when defecating.
Absolutely.
What better time to kill?
Yeah, no, I could definitely shoot a man on the toilet. Or a lady. I don't want to be sexist.
You saw me take the drink of the Snapple. You know what you're doing. Don't appreciate it. Come on, Peach.
Yeah, that's lung Snapple now.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
This is something we've never seen before, and I want to be real clear. This is just a theory, folks. Don't get scared. When a vampire dies, could it potentially, Tim, become a ghost that then haunts you or inhabits you?
I think he could only haunt another vampire.
Ooh, that's a weird catch. Tim, I think you'd need a rule book to know that. Who's going to enforce it?
I mean, Jesus.
Okay.
Why I Hate This Album podcast.
I mean, we did establish in an episode that focused heavily on the Hemsworths that it goes Chris, Liam, Tim, Luke.
Yes.
Now, if we're making an analogy and one of us has to be Chris and one of us has to be Luke, I'm sorry, friend.
No, I don't think that's true.
Way.
I think...
When you're a Luke, you're a Luke all the way.
I'm on the scale. You're not even on there.
What do you mean?
I'm on the Hemsworth scale.
What, you're saying I'm not on the Hemsworth?
It goes Chris, Liam, Tim, Luke.
No, I'm saying when you're there. No, when I'm in there, it goes Chris, Liam, Garrett, whole bunch of other people,
Tim, Luke.
I don't know about that. Can we at least put the whole bunch of people between me and Luke?
Oh, there's more people between you and Luke for
Okay.
sure. You're not like right above Luke. Don't worry. It's Jesse Plemons.
Oh, yeah.
Tim,
Yeah.
Luke.
Okay.
You're just below Jesse Plemons.
But there's
And Tim, I think you'd be a more attractive man if you just had more distinct features or or a face. Like a toe without a nail.
I had forgotten that episode begins with a sleep punch. What's great is Tim and I actually learned this technique from a friend of ours in college. He had become very, very unhappy with another friend of ours, and rather than settle his differences with words or by challenging to about a fisticuffs while they're both awake, he waited till the kid was asleep, snuck into his room, and punched him in the face. That's an insane thing to do, unless that other person made you listen to Lulu. Another thing I have to bring up. How is this the first Fred story to make its way into the show? For those of you who weren't paying close attention, Fred is my father. Hopefully I can bring more Fred stories to the show. They are ridiculous. They are all 100% true, and each one more insane than the last. Another great story in here was the me sneezing in Tim's mouth. That is 100% true, and he has never retaliated. I assume he'll never hear this episode, so let's just talk about it for a minute. I sneezed right in that dude's mouth, and he took it, which, at the moment he had to because there was a 400-pound washing machine precariously placed on his chest. But I got to imagine he still thinks about, oh God, do you guys think that he's been sneezing in my mouth while I'm asleep? Reach out to Tim. He runs the Instagram at hatePod. Slide into those DMs, ask him on the sneak tip, and then hop on over to Twitter and let me know in my DMs, is Tim secretly sneezing in my mouth while I'm asleep? Or anything analogous. I really need to know. What else happened in this episode? Oh, right. Dominating others. Again, I have to ask you guys right in, and now this time I would recommend go to hatepod.com, click on contact us in the upper left-hand corner. There you'll find a contact form, and you can put in whatever email address you want, because I'm going to ask you to get personal. Domination. Tim and I don't really get it. We debated pretty heavily in the episode. What is it? How does it work? Listeners, write in. Let us know. Is it just about being treated like a piece of garbage, or does there need to be a threat of either being hurt or things just going too far? I don't personally get it, so those who are either out there dominating or being dominated, that's the one we really want to know about. Write in. Now, of course, if you want us to know who you are, feel free. You can just reach out directly, hatePodMail@gmail.com, but I want to know, how does this work? Should I be getting into it? Am I missing out? Another thing that jumps out at me here. Guys, did you ever think that Jeremy Renner would become such a staple of this show, considering up until several months ago we had no idea that he allegedly was a musician? Somehow he just keeps showing up. And frankly, I'm thrilled about it. I know that Jeremy has a new album that either came out or is coming out very, very soon. I am lobbying Tim to move this up in the schedule and get more Renner in our face. Let me know if you want to hear about it. You know how to get in contact with us. I want to know, is Jeremy Renner as funny to you guys as it is to me? Another really disturbing thing that happened in this episode, Tim as a girl. This is something he keeps bringing up, and I'm not entirely sure why. Now, to be completely clear here, folks, in case you only heard the clips and didn't hear the full episode, this is, of course, a classic body switching situation, a la Freaky Friday. Tim, completely as he is today, and in a very attractive woman's body. Where do we draw the line? Do I even allow him to walk around nude? Personally, I don't think so, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know, what would you do if your best friend became the hottest version of whatever you're attracted to? What would you do? Because that friend is going to remember that forever, even after they're back in their old body. It's your body. They're going to know your body and the things that you do. So even if they're very attractive to you, I gotta say, you probably don't want to mess around, right? Oh God, the idea of it with Tim. Guys, you just don't understand. Like he would just have his stupid Tim grin on his face. I repulsive. If there's anything that would make me less aroused than Tim, I'd like to hear about it, because I have yet to find it. Anyway, last thing I want to talk about, the return of the Hemsworth scale. Folks, I hope that you are bringing the Hemsworth scale and, of course, the all too important phrase, Hemsworthy, into your daily lives. Ask your friends, where do you sit on the Hemsworth scale? Tim has become obsessed with it. It's unhealthy. He has continued building out the Hemsworth scale so that he can know exactly how many celebrities sit between him and Luke Hemsworth, as well as, and seemingly far less important to me, but very important to Tim, how many celebrities sit between me and Tim? Now, I don't want to hurt his feelings. And Tim's an all right looking guy, you know? Generic as all get out. Just picture one of those woolly willies, but if you let all the metal filaments fall to the ground. There's Tim. Not a bad looking guy, right, ladies? Completely featureless. Like a thumb? You know, like a thumb with eyes and a mouth. I'm unclear if he has a nose. Anyway, Tim's become obsessed with the Hemsworth scale. If you guys would like to weigh in, we'd certainly like to hear about it, and you'll probably get featured on a prepisode. We are slowly cranking through those emails. Keep them coming. hatePodMail@gmail.com. Where do you guys think we sit on the Hemsworth scale? Draw up that scale. Let us see. We all know how it goes. It's Chris right there at the top. He's top Hemsworth. We know that. Then you got Liam. Then you got probably a couple people, myself. And then you got a long list of people. Jesse Plemons, Tim, probably a couple other people, Luke. If you think we got that wrong, write in. We want to hear about it. Let us know, where do we sit? Where do you sit? How do you rank your Hemsworths? I think that's everything for this week. I know it's not exactly the episode you had in your heart's desire, but listen. When your Tim runs away for a week straight and you don't know where he is, and then he comes back all scraped up and bruised, you can't expect him to immediately jump on the mics and record an episode about Macho Man Randy Savage and his short-lived rap career. But guess what? As soon as that motherfucker wakes up, you better believe that's what I'm going to do. So don't worry, we'll be back next week. Tim and Garrett together again, not only talking about Macho Man Randy Savage's debut rap album, Be a Man, but also finding out what did Tim do for those 7 days, because I'd absolutely love to know. As always, please go to hatepod.com if you want to get every episode in every format you could possibly conceive of. And guess what? The website is basically up to date. Probably by the time you hear this, completely up to date. So go check it out. You can also click on contact us in the upper left-hand corner, like I mentioned earlier. That asks for your email address. It's just so we can reply. We don't market at you. Guys, we don't sell anything. What the fuck would we do? All we want to do is reply and say, hey, thanks for listening, and answer any weird questions, which brings me to my next point. Write in and ask us weird questions. You can either use the contact form, as I mentioned, or you can just email us at hatePodMail@gmail.com. Reach out to us on Twitter. We're at Album HatePod. Reach out to us on Instagram, HatePod. I think we've got subreddits up. We've got a Discord server set up. So please, write in. Also, if you'd like to help out the show, either just tell someone to give it a listen, or if you can, the iTunes ratings do still make a hell of a lot of difference. So if you can pop out to those iTunes ratings, give us the 5 stars, get that out of the way. That's the easy part. And then throw some weird and wacky review in there. They have gotten so strange, and trust me, we will likely do a mailbag episode after that ICP episode, and we're going to feature some of the strangest iTunes reviews we've gotten, and they're awesome. So please keep them coming. Guys, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not exactly what you wanted, but we try to bring you something every week, even when Tim disappears for days on end. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey, and Tim has been quietly sleeping in the other room.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. Well, I joined the Navy. I got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. I try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. It's a lobster murder sex thing, the bleaching of her hair, full of salt on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides, the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now the week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.